That'd be so much, yeah. Good, great.
Dr. Troy, yeah, he's on his way here too.
Okay. Oh, Dr. Troy.
Dr. Troy's up.
There he
Okay.
is.
Hold on.
Dr. Boston?
Here he is. Good.
No,
that's
he's not
not.
here yet.
No, that's that's the Cohen.
Okay. That's Dr. DeCoe. That's who I was waiting on.
This is the press conference in regards to Richard LaPeroda. Some folks are asking if this is an incident that just happened. It's not. This is something that happened in 2017, but somehow most people did not know about this until today. Even though Yonkers Voice broadcasted this incident back in 2017, to be exact, in March, on March 3rd, 2017. So this particular fireman was promoted, I'm not sure to which rank, and now there is people that are opposing this, opposing how can a racist or a person that posts racist comments on Facebook being promoted, and those are the people that are in charge to keep us safe and to save us, save blacks and whites. So how can he be trusted that he will save or do the best that he can to save a black person when he expresses racist feelings about the black community?
We fighting the newest show. Yes, yes.
What's up, AJ? What's up, sir? Good, man.
Anyone else we're waiting for?
No, some in front.
We good, D? Good afternoon. I am Reverend Frank Coleman, President of the NAACP Yonkers branch. On yesterday, Mr. Richard LaPeroda was promoted by the mayor, Mike Spano, to a supervisory position in spite of the fact that we, the NAACP of Yonkers, our state conference, and other leaders in our community vehemently disapprove of this promotion and voiced it beforehand to the mayor directly. To place the situation in proper context, let me state documented facts about what transpired with Mr. LaPeroda. In 2017, he posted on his Facebook page a photograph of a black man with his arm around an ape, which he subsequently posted, and I quote, "Father reconnects with his son after abandoning him 13 years earlier," end of quote. This, as blatantly stated, is directly implying that blacks and other people of color are direct descendants of monkeys, and stereotypically further implies that black fathers habitually abandon their children. This statement in its context has been used as a racial epithet and troped against black people for centuries. In the June 2017 edition of the New York Times, Mr. Brent Staples wrote, and I'm quoting from the article, that the oldest and most profoundly racist slanders in American history is referring African Americans as the offspring of apes. This depiction, promoted by slave traders, historians, and practitioners of scientific racism was used to justify slavery, justify lynching, and the creation of the Jim Crow state. The toxically racist ape characterization has been pushed to the margins of the public square. Nevertheless, a growing body of research shows that it has maintained a pernicious grip on the American imagination, which brings us here today to bring awareness and call for justice. Instead of being fired, which he should have been, Mr. Leparuda was merely suspended for 75 days and given the privilege to take the test for promotion. And 2 years later, rather than being fired, he is now promoted to a position of authority over some whom he directly attributes to the lineage of monkeys and apes. It is sickening and even frightening that more and more people are becoming increasingly emboldened in their white supremacist views and beliefs, and are now even being supported and sustained by our local government and some union leadership, knowing they have these beliefs. This man should have been fired 2 years ago, and now because he wasn't, and without any showing of remorse to our community specifically, he is promoted. This is a direct slap in the face of our entire community, and it reveals to us pointedly how this local municipality, from top to bottom, really feels about us. And that deeply saddens me. Conclusively, I shudder to think of what would have happened had a black man posted the same thing and revealed his derogatory views. He would have been fired and ostracized by every entity of this community. Now, there are other wonderful leaders here who are not afraid to stand with us in our disapproval of what has transpired. And we want to certainly allow them to share with us as well. I'm going to call, if you will, our president of the division division of clergy to come forward and share with us, President DeCole.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is another sad day when people of good faith, of good conscience, has to come together to address the poison that exists within our culture and society. We now live in a society where racist remarks, mass shootings have occurred across our land, all because of the color of skin. We are standing together in solidarity, saying that this has to end. And our public, political, civic leaders must come together and be able to unify and say that we will not stand for this no more. We will not tolerate anyone who brings forth racist remarks, brings forth derogatory statements, defamatory, injurious statements that affects any one race within our community. So we're here saying no, he should not be promoted, but furthermore, not even just be promoted, he should be fired. And this is just the first part. As president of United Black Clergy, and we have clergy leadership throughout this county, we will partner with Yonkers. And if we gotta go to the street, we will go to the street and organize and say enough is enough. And stop empowering people with racism, bigotry that exists deep inside. And here's the sad commentary. He's a fireman. if he feels this way about black folk, imagine if there's a fire. We can't trust him that he would even save us because he thinks we're gorillas.
That's right.
And therefore we could swing out of a window. So we are conscious of this, even of his thinking, how he might even reserve the right to save one of our children. So we're saying enough is enough. Thank you.
We also have with us Chris Johnson. We're going to have him to share with us, who's county legislator. Glad to have him to share with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a sad, sad situation. Anytime anyone in our community says or steps forward with these types of ideas and these types of beliefs, it should be shot down. The reality is what was posted was unacceptable then, and it's unacceptable now. The truth and the matter of fact is, at that time, this firefighter should have been let go. However, he wasn't. There was a suspension that followed, and there was an apology that we have not yet heard and not yet seen. My problem comes there. We do live in a society where we need to allow people to, after retribution, to then make up for the mistakes that they have made. But if you're not going to make those apologies to the same community that you have offended, then did you make that apology? Some will tell you that there are laws that don't allow for this conversation to take place. Well, I tell those individuals that those laws then need to be changed. Any law in our state, any law in our city that protects anyone, man, woman, firefighter, police officer, elected official, from when they say comments, from when they make mistakes, from paying for those mistakes, for apologizing to the people that they have offended, is a bad law. So we need to move forward and make sure that that any individual who does anything like this, anything close to this, that they step forward and that we see who they are, that we know who they are, and that they pay for what they have done. If you say it was a mistake, if you say you apologize, then step forward and say it to the community whom you offended. Be present. Do not be afraid. Do not hide behind so-called leaders of your community. We want you to speak to leaders of our community. We stand here awaiting that apology. We stand here waiting to hear and to see that remorse that one says exists. Until we see that, until we hear that, we must, as a community, we must as a people, we must as individuals who, as was stated earlier, have heard this for our entire existence in this nation.
Yes.
We must stand together and we must push back.
Right.
There is no, well, maybe.
Right.
There is no, how about next time?
Right.
There is no, let's have a conversation.
Yes.
We will speak.
Yes.
We will have a conversation. We will have that after we see an apology is fully made, after we see that there is full retribution for your actions, and not until then. But we stand willing, we stand able to continue a conversation. That is what we have done through the history of this nation. That is what we do now, and that is what we will continue to do. We will be leaders in this community, in this state, and in this nation on racism, on bigotry, and until we feel and until we see and we know that we have others who stand with us, we will continue to push back against that. Thank you.
This time we're going to have Councilperson Shanae Williams come and share with us.
Okay. I've taken the liberty of just writing my thoughts down because I want to make sure that people understand that this is bigger than one man who posted one post in the Yonkers Fire Department. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent on things that matter. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said this years ago, and it stands true today. So today I am standing and speaking on something that matters. What happened 2 years ago was wrong. It was immoral. It was offensive, and it was racist. This man should have been terminated for the post he made, not promoted. There's no secret that I have a good relationship with Mayor Spano. He's done wonderful things for the city of Yonkers. But I am shocked to see that he promoted this man after all that has happened, knowing that he initially suspended him pending with the intent of terminating him. It's clear to me that we have the good old boys system here in Yonkers. It's clear to me that we have that in the fire department. And this promotion, as you've heard before, is a slap in the face to the African American community and to all minorities in Yonkers. There's a cultural problem here, and we have to address it. So I will be calling upon my colleagues on the City Council to stand with me, to join me in committee meetings, to address the issues we have within the fire department. I will do that. I will do all that I can to ensure that all city employees receive the proper sensitivity trainings and implicit bias trainings, because this cannot and should not ever happen again. I commend the United Black Clergy of Westchester and Yonkers NAACP for bringing this matter to light and for standing up for something that matters. And I thank every one of you here today standing behind me for showing up. It is important that we speak up as a community in order to make real change happen. And in closing, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, in the end, we will remember the words of we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Thank you. Sinead Williams, Yonkers City Council member for the 1st District.
We're gonna, yes, at this time, Assemblyman Gay Jared Pretlow.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to have to disagree with my colleague in government, Chris, on the fact that I don't want an apology at this point. 2 years later, it won't be heartfelt. It would be a lie and done just to appease us. What I'm demanding now is action. This has to be acted upon. I can assure you that none of us back here have tails. Okay. But it's been long said that black people had tails. No, we don't. We are human beings. And we're living now in a country that's toxic with racism, with mass shootings because of people's religion, people's color, people's religion. This cannot be allowed to happen. Yonkers has one of the least diverse fire departments in the state of New York, and that has to change. And when you have situations where people are allowed to not only get away with what was done 2 years ago, but be rewarded for it, be promoted, be put into a position of authority, that is wrong.
That is wrong.
And we cannot and will not stand for it.
Amen.
This has to change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Assemblyman.
At this time, my brother, Minister Mark, will share with you at this time.
Greetings, everyone. It is neither a privilege or a pleasure to be here. I stand here as Vice President of the Vulcan Society, and with my comrade, I stand here as the President of the NAACP New Rochelle branch. And fundamentally, we are all here as African Americans because we are angry. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this promotion represents a disrespect to the African American community. In a year that we are celebrating 400 years of history and culture in this country, in 2019, we still have to suffer disrespect and disregard. And we are here today to serve notice that we are no longer going to take this type of disrespect. We're here today in 2019 where white supremacy is alive and well, that we are serving notice to the elected officials, to the union leaders, to everybody that is in a position of power, that we are no longer going to allow you to disrespect our community, to promote this gentleman after the racist and vitriol that he has perpetrated on not only fellow Yonkers firefighters, but Yonkers citizens as a whole, is an outrage. And it is tantamount to condoning and co-signing the white supremacy that he put out on the internet. And so, as African Americans, we are standing strong and we are serving notice that we will be respected. There will not be a tolerance of white supremacist attitudes. And we will stand and fight for our right as Americans and of foundational members of this country. Thank you very much.
Forget your name again?
My name is Minister Mark McLean. I'm the president of the NAACP New Rochelle branch and the vice president of the Vocal Society of Westchester.
Thank you. This time we will hear from my friend, Pastor Norman.
My name is Reverend Norman. I'm one of the community leaders and I happen to pastor here in Yonkers. But I'm standing here with brothers and sisters from the black community as well as the Hispanic community as well. I'm also here talking as a representative for the black law enforcement of Westchester. They're irate, they're angry, and they're frustrated, but they have a zero tolerance for racism. We have a zero tolerance for elected officials who are not empathetic to our community, who no longer have any sensitivity to our community, and we are tired of it, and we're not going to stand for it. So as a collective community, even the Jewish community would not tolerate this, though they're not standing here. We're asking all our brothers and sisters who are sympathetic and who are compassionate and understand the visceral act of this young man, that it is an indictment to all of us as human beings. And we're saying enough is enough.
Yes.
And we're saying this, it is not over.
Yes.
It's not over.
Yes.
It's a Pandora's box, and you woke up the elephant.
Yes.
You woke up the bear.
Yes.
And the bear is telling you we're hungry, and we're hungry for respect, and we're going to get it.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Well, thank you again. Thank you again for being here. Yes.
I would like to ask a question if you don't mind.
Yes.
Huh?
No, come on in front. Come on in front.
Oh, they're going to speak?
Come right in front. Come right in front.
Have your post on.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Charles Chesnavage. I am the president of the Westchester Coalition Against Islamophobia. And we are a coalition of concerned citizens, both Muslim and non-Muslim, who oppose bigotry and discrimination against Muslims and Islam while upholding the civil rights of all. And we stand here upholding the civil rights of all, opposing the racist Facebook postings of the fireman Richard LaPeruta. We called for his firing when it first went up because these postings are happening all over the country, not only here in the city of Yonkers, and so serious action needs to be taken. And we also speak obviously against the promotion of someone who represents white supremacist views that is rewarded for his actions instead of being fired. And we will continue to speak out on these white supremacist actions in the city of Yonkers and in Westchester County. And we call upon all public officials to be standing with us to condemn these actions and oppose all forms of bigotry, racism, and discrimination against all. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you.
Yes. Bless you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I don't condone this in any way, shape, or form. But the people who we are broadcasting this to are asking, why it took so long for us to see this type of reaction? This happened in 2017. He's been on the force since then. Many fires, he has been in many, actions where maybe he had to defend a black person. Why didn't it take it so long for us to see this?
That's the question that we're asking. That's the question. Why wasn't he fired? All right. Now I can't speak on matters of personnel or anything as to why, but that's a question for you in the press to get an answer for. But we asked for his firing immediately when he said that.
But the question is, why didn't this group was here since those posts were posted on?
This group has been here. All right?
So this is an ongoing.
Yes, he was promoted against our wishes. We were assured, we were given specific assurances that he wasn't going to get promoted. Okay, and now he's going to be in charge of the individuals in which he called monkeys. All right, because he not only took a racist post, he reposted it and said this is first and second on the new YFD entry level list. Okay, so he specifically disparaged the same Black and Latino individuals that he is now going to potentially be placed in charge of. Okay,
and it's important, to note that we allow the system to work. Yes. We have faith in the union, in the disciplinary actions, and this act was challenged right away by strong leaders, and they allowed the administration, the mayor, the union to address this, and they were assured that it would be addressed. Lo and behold, 2 years later, they are promoting this person. And so this is why we're here today in response to the further disrespect of not only refusing to discipline him properly, but going a step further and slapping us in the face and promoting this individual. And in promoting him, you are co-signing and emboldening and you are legitimizing this type of behavior. And we as the African American community in 2019, we're not having that. We're not having the renaissance of racism and hatred that our people fought hard for 400 years to defeat, gave their lives and shed their blood. Yes. We're not going to have it. We're not going to have a Yonkers mayor, a Yonkers Fire Department union disrespect us and disrespect our legacy.
Now, we reported this when this first happened, March 3rd, 2017. Has this person reposted anything after that date that you know of?
So part of the issue here is that we've heard nothing since that date. We've heard nothing from anyone. The only ones who have been speaking are the individuals standing here and our partners and friends. When you look at it that way, a wound was opened on that date, and there was never an opportunity for that wound to be healed. What we've heard subsequently is that this individual was suspended for 75 days without pay, that this individual has been passed over on promotion several times, and that this individual is no longer allowed to post on social media, at least not as a firefighter. Additionally, we've heard that he's written 2 apology letters and sent those letters to the mayor. The problem is, again, that none of this has been communicated to the community that was offended at that time and remains offended to this day. And so when this promotion takes place, that wound that was open, that was never allowed to heal, has just had salt poured on it. Rather than taking time, having conversations with the community, letting people know what was done, what could be done, and the steps that were taken, none of that happened. And all of a sudden, someone who has completely offended an entire community gets promoted. And that's what's unacceptable.
And that's incumbent upon the mayor, Mayor Mike Spano, who enjoys the support of the African American community. We have to have a symbiotic relationship. We give him our support, he has to give us respect. And respect would have been to liaison with the leaders of our community about this situation. We should not have just heard, from a text that this gentleman was promoted. We should have been brought in, we should have been talked to, there should have been some type of dialogue And it should have been clear that we were satisfied as a community. That didn't happen. And I'm going to tell you, we, like Reverend Norman said, we are awoke. We will remember come the day of reckoning, which is every election. We are going to demand respect at the ballot box. And that's a promise.
Let me ask you a quick question. AJ,
Just before that, also, one thing that we need to make sure that we understand, because I want to answer your question directly. And the answer to your question directly is, it doesn't matter that he didn't post anything else.
That's right.
My mother always told me, whenever somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
That's right. That's right.
I got a quick question. AJ Wilson, Black Westchester. First off, I applaud all of y'all for being out here and for speaking up and speaking against this. But this nation has shown us that people in power, the people that feel this way, us gathering, us speaking up, and doing nothing to change it, whether it's locally, whether it's countywide, statewide, nationwide. What are y'all going to do? I've seen sometimes groups like this, and we make a lot of noise, and it's on to the next thing. But we never get the justice that we demand. So I put that to all of y'all.
What we're doing, what most of us are doing, and we're galvanizing, and we're gathering together strategic meetings to discuss who's running, who we can elect, and who we can put up to be elected. We're looking to change the culture of how politics is done in this county and in this state. And like I said, we are awake now. We are awake, and we're looking at every aspect. We're not playing checkers, we're playing chess. And we're playing superb chess, and we will win.
And one of the other things, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And one of the other things too, in reference to clergy, to even mobilize, we have had these conversations, and as Reverend Norman said, we are meeting to discuss, especially at the ballot. Who are we looking to put in place? Yeah, Mr. Spano, you might have it in now. Okay, great. But we will remember, and as time goes forward, you will see more and more groups mobilizing just based on positions of elected officials. The churches are no longer asleep. Believe that. And we have demonstrated that in elections in the county, elections in the state, elections locally. And we will organize in order to constantly address these issues, fundamental practices of human rights and civility. And we're going to address this. And there's a sad commentary again. We're now living in a country where we are very divided. We have the white supremacists, and they embolden. I saw on Facebook 35 middle-aged white women with the words "BI" on their front. BI racist. They are bold now, and then the hood is no longer on. They took the hood off, and they're telling us who they are, and therefore we have to respond in kind.
No, we're fine. We already said it. We're not asleep anymore. We are awake, and the time has come. You will see, because we've already been meeting. We've had meetings already, and we're part of the not only NAACP, the clergy meeting as well. We're not going to continue to take the disrespect that has come our way. I've been living here now for 2 years, and it has blown me away. And I've lived in the South as well, and it has blown me away, the closet racism that I've seen. And now we see the literally overt racism that's right before us. It's here. And it's amazing that our people have to continue to go through this over and over and over again. And it's amazing as well that we're supposed to be kind and considerate and forgiving. We're the ones that's oh, please. But the time has come for us to stop allowing this foolishness that is directed towards us to continue going forward.
I just want to say that in terms of the fire department specifically, fire service, that the Vulcan Society, we've been working for decades to open up the fire service and to hold the leaders of the fire service accountable. The Vulcan Society, we confronted this thing immediately, so we continue to work.
I want to say one more thing. Let me say this right quick. These elected officials that are here, that are standing here, they've got our support, and so they're covered. And so we will fight with them tooth and nail, and we're letting everybody know. Every elected official here, we're standing behind them, not only with our mouth, but with our money and with our work ethic to support them.
I just want to say the Vulcan Society, and just on behalf of the minority firefighters in the city of Yonkers, Barry McGoey of Local 628, PJ Goldfeather of the United Firefighters Officers Association, they do not have the support of the black and Latino and minority firefighters, and they never have. And all elected officials that's running around taking money from them, they don't support black people, they don't support Latinos, and they never have. That's a ruse, that's a myth, and this shows what it is. And they're the ones that's been putting pressure to get this guy fired. So you want to get your answers, go to Barry McGoey and you go to PJ Goldfeather and ask them why it's okay to have someone that posted a monkey be in charge of the same firefighters that he posted a monkey about.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
Well, just let me ask you one question on camera, if you don't mind. What are you hoping that the Yonkers Mayor, Mike Spano, will do? What do you want to see him do? Fire this man or send him to a rehabilitation kind of program? What do you hope for?
But here's the reality. Had I been president 2 years ago, I would have been looking for him to be fired. I'm president now. I'm looking for him to be fired.
No,
that's all. There's nothing less.
There is no room for negotiations.
There's
Do you
no
want
room
him
for
fired?
I want him fired.
Now, have you spoken to the union president, Mr. McGoey? Have you tried?
Has he tried to speak to me?
No, I'm just asking.
No, that's my answer.
I guess you have not. You have not tried to contact him.
I would if I knew. I don't. The first time I heard his name was when you just said it, or when they just said it. I don't even know who that is.
Do you think there is more things like this happening within the fire department?
I'm not going to. I'm not a part of the fire department, and I'm not going to even be close to try to ascertain what goes on in the fire department, other than Mr. Leparuda posted this 2 years ago. It is hateful, it is racist, and there is no way in the world that I will have a clear conscience other than the fact it needs to be fired.
So just for the record, can you tell me who you are for our audience?
I am Reverend Frank Coleman. I'm the pastor of Messiah Baptist Church, Yonkers, New York, and as well I am the president of the NAACP Yonkers branch.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Yeah, after a while. They took that by this.
Why aren't there more people in the city council? Why? Because you know what they do? They sell their own people out.